Hi guys, I just want to show you some details on how to format an APA 7th edition. So this is a newer edition that changed back in 2019. What is this year? Yes, 2019. And how you can format that using Google Drive. I know that sometimes we have different formatting softwares installed on our computer. I love Google Drive because you can basically take it anywhere and all you have to do is log in. And then once you're finished, if your instructor doesn't allow you to share a link, then you can still download your file as a document or a PDF, which might be best if you have like a Mac or something like that. So this is just the basic stuff, and I'm going to walk you through 4 pages within an APA document. So one of the really nice things that changed from the 6th edition to the 7th edition is the header. The header is so much easier than it used to be, and all you have to do is just insert a page number. You want to make sure that your page number is the same font size and style as the rest of your document. So I am going to go to Insert, go to Page Numbers. I want to select the box here in the top left corner where I see that this is going to sound confusing, where I see numbers in the top right corner. So if we're looking at this grid and there's 4 options here, right, I'm picking the top left option, the first option, but it's because I see a number 1 on the first page and then a number 2 on the second page. The option over here says no page number on the cover page, but a page number here. We don't want that. And then these options down here are at the bottom of the page, but we don't want that either. So that's where you're going to select to put your page number right here. Now we want to use the same font size and style, and most of you are familiar with writing in Times New Roman size 12, so that's what we're going to do for our page number. Now you can double click or single click, I think, to get back out of that in order to begin working on your cover page. So first thing I'm going to do is change my font. Same thing, Times New Roman size 12. I'm also going to center this, and I'm going to kind of just be like popping back and forth between an example here of what this looks like and trying to replicate that. So I'll notice that the title of my paper is about 1/3 of the way down from the page, and it's bold. So I'm gonna, you know what, I also want to make sure that my document is double spaced. So before I start typing anything, I'm gonna go here and just make sure that I'm on double spacing. All right, and I'm gonna enter down, I don't think that APA has a set number of lines you need to enter down. They didn't in the 6th edition, and I haven't seen that anywhere in 7th edition yet. So I'm just looking for some kind of eye visual. Right here looks good. I'm going to bold my first line, and then this is where I'm going to put the title of my paper. Now, if you'll notice on the example, and you'll see this on every example, there seems to be an extra line between the title and where you're going to write your name. So I'm actually going to enter down twice. The rest of that paper is, those lines are not bold, so I'm going to remove the bold formatting. Then I'm going to write my name, enter down. What's next is my college. You can also include the department that you're in. So English department, comma, that's what follows the department, Mitchell Community College, or whatever college you attend. Following that, you'll notice that this information here that we see on the example is the class that you're in. So for the purposes of this video, I am teaching English 114, which I can't really remember the name of this class, so I'm going to give you a placeholder name, of course. And then I'm going to enter down, and I am putting my instructor's name. For me, personal preference, I don't really care. You can put my first and last name, or you can just put my last name. You will probably want to find out what your instructor prefers as well. And then you're going to put the date. Now notice the date is just a standard American date style. So today is July 6th, 2020. That's what I'm going to put there. All right, so this is what your cover page should look like. I think that formatting this is a little bit easier. There's some more items, but in terms of the header, a little bit easier than the 6th edition. Now, I want to go on to a new page, so I like to insert a page break just because it's less clicking of enter. Now, I'm going to provide a placeholder for my abstract. This is, again, just basic. An abstract is something that you would write after you've written your paper, and you would just summarize the goals of your paper, and so With a bold title, I'm going to write abstract here. My abstract would not be centered, it would be left aligned, and I would not indent any of the lines on that paragraph. And so again, just still double spaced. This is what my abstract would look like, just kind of like a boxy block of content. Now I'm going to insert another page break, and again, here is where I'm going to begin my paper. So I'm going to rewrite the title of my paper here again, centered, bold. Then I will start writing my paper the same way I would write any academic paper. Indent the first line, introduction, type my introductory content, make sure that my content is double spaced. There we go. And just kind of keep typing until I get to the end of my introduction. And then the same concept as you're familiar with is the case for everything else in your paragraph. You're going to write your body paragraphs, indenting the first lines of each of those, and then your conclusion. Whenever you are including a citation in your body paragraphs, you have a couple of options here. You can use the citation in the lead-in phrase. So if you have a website, for example, you are going to use the author's last name, you're going to use the year that it was published. If we're looking at a website, we're going to assume there's no page numbers, so you would not need to include that. However, if you're looking at a book or a text that does have page numbers, maybe it's a scanned PDF or something like that, then you're going to use the author's name, the year, and the page number. And so that could look a couple of different ways. One way it could be like all of the information included in parentheses at the end of the content or sentence that you cited, and you begin with the author's name followed by a comma. Then you write the year that the information was published followed by a comma. And then if you have a page number, you type P period and then whatever that page number is. Surround all of that in parentheses and put a period at the end. So as you see here. Another option would be if you don't have a page number, you would just type the author's last name followed by a comma, the year, and again, all of that surrounded in parentheses with a period. There's another way that you can provide in-text citation information, and that means either putting all of the information in the lead-in phrase or splitting the information between lead-in and what comes at the end in parentheses. So let's say you use the author's last name in the lead-in phrase, then you would need to immediately follow it with the year in parentheses. So you might say something like, according to Smith, and in which case, in parentheses, you would provide the year, and then maybe you would quote whatever Smith said, and now you can type P period 44 for that page number. Okay, so what if there is no page number, but you still want to include the author's last name in the lead-in phrase? Then it's actually a little bit easier. You just do the same thing, provide the author's last name, follow it by the year in parentheses, and then you put your period inside the quote, inside the quotation marks, as opposed to on the outside, and you're all done. So those are the basic formatting. Now, of course, there's other really complicated ways to format in-text citations. What if you have a page range? What if you don't have a date? What if there's more than one author? What if there's paragraph numbers but not page numbers? In which case, you should certainly check your reference guide. Okay, so once you've typed up your paper or you're ready to format your references page, then go ahead and insert another page break, get down to references, center that title on the page, and begin typing your reference. So I'm going to steal a reference here because I cannot use my brain right now. And I copy and pasted it over. It should not be bold. And as you can tell here, when I copy and paste, I lost the italics of the title. And so I need to bring those back. The title is The Elements of Library Research, and the subtitle is What Every Student Needs to Know. So I need to put that in italics. Also, you'll notice that I don't have, or I lost that hanging indent where the second line is indented and the first line is flush to the left margin. So while Microsoft Word has a little kind of behind the scenes code that you can tell the computer to do to format a hanging indent, Google Drive has yet to get on the ball with this. Maybe they'll hear me. Google Drive, please give us an option. So what you have to do right now is you have to make sure that your second, third, fourth, whatever lines are on their own separate line. So what I mean by that is that you have essentially hit enter and given them their own line. The content didn't just fall onto a new line. All right, so let's pretend I didn't do that. So if I backspace it and then I just hit space and not enter, it's not on its own line, it's just fallen down to the next line. And I push tab. So what happens is my first line tabs in and indents where I need my second line to. Well, that's not really what I want, right? So let's back that up. What you have to do is you have to place your cursor where you want to indent the page or indent the line. Here you'll notice that my cursor is on the second line. And then you need to give that content its own line by forcing it onto its own line. It doesn't just fall naturally onto a second line, you force it there. So you push enter. Now, when I push enter, and I haven't done it yet, nothing should happen. There's just a code in the background saying, hey, this is on its own line. So I pushed enter. Great. Nothing happened. Now I should be able to push tab, and that's telling the computer this is its own line. You can tab it over. And wonderful, that's what happens there. So that's how you have to format a hanging indent using Google Drive. So in terms of basic formatting, this is what APA 7th edition looks like. You need your cover page, you need your abstract page, the content of your paper, which of course is just more than one page, but here's an example of what the basics looks like, and then your references and updated in the 7th edition. Remember, it's not just the page layout that changed. References changed as well. There are a few minor changes with in-text citations, so please make sure that you check your reference guide. Well, I hope that this helps you use Google Drive. Again, this is something you can take with you wherever you are, yeah, I think that covers everything, but if you have any questions, just let me know.